So this is just a brief overview. It's aimed really at the Serious Fraud Office, who I hope are going to be reviewing these videos and reviewing the evidence I'm presenting about the full scale of the Abu Dhabi FIX. It was a fraud, and I'm going to try and break that down into 8 quick simple steps. There's a hell of a lot more to it than that, but I'm going to break it down to these 8 key points. So here we go. From the moment Latifi crashed, we see the TV feed on our screens. That is created by F1 TV. They created a narrative. They choose the footage to show us. They choose the radio messages to present to us. All of that was geared up to presenting to us that we were going to see a racing ending to that Grand Prix. It wasn't authentic. It was a narrative that they created to condition us to believe that. Number 2, the commentary provided by Sky Sports F1 followed suit and did exactly the same. Martin Brundle and David Croft lied continually throughout those last 5 laps of that race whilst the safety car was lapping round, in order to present to us that we were likely to see a racing finish, when the real rules of the sport dictate that that was going to be a safety car finish. And it became apparent that by the end of lap 56, with those lapped cars not being able to be released, that it had to be a safety car finish, whereas all the way through, Crofty and Brundle were lying and still presenting to us that we were going to see a racing finish. Number 3, the then Massey rule break. So this is the first FIA rule break. Massey broke the rules of the sport to manufacture a racing lap to that Grand Prix, knowing full well that Max Verstappen would be hugely advantaged, able to lap at probably 2 seconds, maybe more than that, faster than Lewis Hamilton on that final lap, making him out and out odds-on favourite to win a 1-lap race-off in those conditions. Massey manufactured that by breaking the rules of the sport to do so. They claim that it was a human error. Massey goes on to claim that the purpose of releasing the lapped cars is to remove them out of the way of the leaders. Massey's previous conduct demonstrates that he knows otherwise. He has demonstrated that he knew how to use he knew the rules of the sport, knew how to use the safety car, knew the purpose of the safety car. Number 4, the 4 stewards that Mercedes appealed to at the end of the race, appealing that the FIA race director had broken the rules of the sport. They decided that the rule break was valid. They allowed Red Bull into that appeal. It was entirely corrupt. I've done videos on that already. Have a look at them. You will see how corrupt that steward's appeal was. Number 5, the contracted media. Now, the contracted media of Sky Sports F1 produced numerous interviews and programs in the aftermath, all aimed at conditioning people to accept the result that was generated by the rule break. Now, the programs are full of lies, smokescreen and fake validation, and they throw many things in there that are complete diversion. They're totally irrelevant and actually purposely designed to cause conflict in the comment section of social media. Now, I will go on to demonstrate that and show you why they do it. But that is something that Sky Sports served to do. They wanted people to move on. Martin Brundle, the day after the event, is telling people they need to move on. The day after the most controversial sporting event, he's telling you to move on. Number 6, the FIA. Again, so we're back to the FIA. This is the 3rd time. Now, the FIA have the power to set a precedent here. We didn't have to wait to the Thursday of that week for Mercedes to decide whether they were going to elevate their appeal status. The FIA could have stepped in and gone, we have seen an unprecedented thing take part in the sport, and we need to deal with it as governing body. And we will do so because what happened was clearly wrong. They didn't do that, and instead we're told that they come to an agreement with Mercedes to conduct this thorough review. So the next one is the FIA again. The FIA then conduct this review. They take 3 months, they hang it out as long as possible, and then on the eve of the opening Grand Prix of the 2022 season, in the hope that we've all moved on and now are excited by the new season, they drop it that, yeah, they acknowledge that an error was made, the rules were broken, but they're going to maintain the result. It's categorically a fact that Massey's breaking of the rules changed the outcome of the World Championship. That's a fact. It had to finish behind the safety car. Lewis Hamilton would have won the race. That is irrefutable. He finished the race. Therefore, if it would have been completed behind the safety car, he'd have won the race because there would have been no overtaking allowed. The rule break changed that, and yet they decided to keep with that rule break. Rather than saying we need to conduct ourselves in accordance with our own sporting code and set a precedent here on the basis of the fact that this is a sport, rather than do that, they chose to argue semantics to uphold something that was entirely wrong. And then, number 8, we're back to the media again. And that is Sky Sports F1. And what they do, they continually condition us to move on, to accept it, to throw in fake validation, fake reasoning, irrelevant reasoning. And they've done that continually and urged us to not focus on it, to move on, telling us that everybody's moved on, we should too. Draw a line under it. Now, ask yourself this. If something is authentic, do you have to make a TV programme for the purpose of excusing it, conditioning people to accept it, and urging people to move on from it? And I would say, absolutely not.